Hey, and thank you for tuning in to Music Men and My Mental. I am C.DeVone, and we are talking about all things in your career, relationships, and overall health, how to balance this thing out just one day at a time and how to flourish. Of course, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm so excited, but we gotta check in with each other. You know, I've been trying to make sure I'm conscious of us checking in with ourselves and just seeing how you feeling in your career, how you feeling in your relationships, how you feeling in your health. And if you've been following, I have been having a nightmare with my therapist because I just don't like her. I just do not like my therapist right now. And I realize it's because she does not give me homework. I want homework. I want to come back and show something where I can get this gold star, I guess. So I decided that, for this podcast, let me give some homework for us. And as I was walking out of my building, literally like a couple minutes ago, I see this artwork on the floor, and someone's throwing away. I guess they're moving, and they threw away this piece of art that said "The Picture of Good Health," and it had a man with a side profile and his inside of the brain kind of compartmentalized into like different things of awareness and things like that. And I was like, oh, this is great. What does good health look like to you? So take that moment and take just do a little homework within yourself and just say, you know what does good health look like to me in my career, in my relationships, in my actual mental and physical health? So, okay. Now that we got the homework on lock, let's go into my guest today. Like that. Today I have a special guest, and her name is Randi B. She is, I can go into the things that I just have learned about her: speaker, motivator, entrepreneur, mom, wife, traveler, explorer, sister-intendent, which I need to know what a sister-intendent is. I'll ask you more about that. But thank you for coming on to the show today.
Oh, thank you for having me. Yay! I'm excited. Yes.
So who is Randi B?
Who is Randi B? I'm discovering every day who Randi B is.
Right.
That's a process. Mm-hmm. But right now, today, I am a woman who has owned her own business for 18 years. Mm-hmm. I am a blogger. I am a passionate soul who loves to travel the world and drink good wine and listen to good music. I love my sister friends. Mm-hmm. I'm so much.
Right.
I think.
Right. No, yes. You are. And what I love about you is like you have this fascinating, beautiful inside and out aura. And when she walks into a room, it's like you just want to know what she's about. Like, just talk to me. Like, I just want to have a conversation.
Oh, that's nice.
But your background is you deal with inclusion and diversity and relationships. So what is that? You've made a career of it for 18 years, right?
Yes. I started a training company where I go to corporations and I train them on how to make this diverse crowd that they hired feel included, right? So people always brag about the numbers that they have this many women or this many African Americans or this many gay people. But are those people really happy working there? Do they feel included? Do they feel that they have a seat at the table, that their voices are respected? Mm-hmm. And so I go in and help people create inclusive environments. Mm-hmm. So everyone feels like they're included.
I like that.
It's been doing that for a while. But I've recently changed because, to be very candid, back in the day, I was just trying to pay the rent and put food on the table. So I really said what corporations wanted me to say. It was just more like, diversity's great, rah, 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 let's all sing Kumbaya. And that was the end of my training. Got my check and left.
Ow.
And then I got to a point where, paying rent wasn't the most important thing anymore. And it was more about, I really cared about my folks, people feeling included. And so I went in and I said, the only way I will take a contract now is if I'm able to tell the truth.
Ooh,
which is
we're
hard.
Telling the truth today.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I don't just say, just everybody's happy, diversity, kumbaya. Sometimes you got to start with a little, oh Lordy.
And woo child.
And woo child, right? And things are tough.
Right.
And being real about it and saying, like, we got to improve some stuff around here. You can't get anywhere unless you're honest about where you are.
I like that, the truth. And so I sat down with you to talk about what we would discuss on the show. And
Right.
before we even got into the topics, before we got into questions, we should have just been rolling the tape. I was like, I literally closed my notebook in the coffee shop, like, I gotta go. We even have, I mean, first of all, we are both Sagittarius. So you already know it's about to just be fiery up in here. And then, like she said, I was reading about, she was blogging about something in Phoenix where it was just this crazy story on an airplane. And I was like, I have a story about Phoenix. And she was like, I have a story about Phoenix. And I was like, yeah, I was like, moving there for love. She's like, I moved there for love. I was like, oh shit. She's like, and I had to go. I was like, and I had to go. So I think we just are connected, kindred spirits.
Yes.
But your thing is you are a connector. I think I have the same type of traits.
Yeah.
But you are really a connector from so we met in Croatia and she would just be like, oh, you need to meet this person. You need to meet this person. And I'm like, okay, yeah. All right. And you just have so much wisdom. It's crazy within your career, within your relationships, and overall health. And I don't even think you remember on the boat. We're all drinking or whatever. But when someone says something that's a real gem and you lose your drunkenness, I was like, oh, like she said something like about just like marriage and things in life. And I was like, oh yeah, she needs to come on this show. So we're just going to jump into things. And you also have a book, which we'll go into those little things too. I know you said, I don't care about the book and stuff like that to talk about it, but it's so important because it's 25 phrases you should never say to keep a job and relationships, right?
Right.
And I want to go into these like little tidbits of things you shouldn't say in your career, your relationship, and your health. But first, the first thing, as soon as we sat down to have this coffee, we started talking about being happy and excitement and survival. And I was like, oh, wow. So just talk about because you are a person who is living their best life. Before even knowing her full name, she just came in and she just was happy and living. And I'm like, oh, where are you going next? I'm going to Turkey. And I'm like, what the hell? I just want to live your life for like 2 minutes, which is all subjective because everyone has,
right.
things that they're going through. But I was like, wow, you are living your life. And you were just telling me about being happy and being taught to be happy. Can you just go into that just a little bit and within yourself and maybe just how to share your experiences of how you got here?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So both my parents died young and unexpectedly. And I tell people they gave me life, of course, when I was born, but they gave me life when they passed away so young. And when I sat there and on my knees and thought it was over for me because I have no siblings. And when my mom died, the last parent, I felt absolutely alone in the world. And I said, I could either get better or bitter. I can learn from this. And what I learned from it was life is fleeting. You have no idea how much time you have on this earth. And I said, whatever time I have, it would be dishonorable to my parents, to all my ancestors, if I didn't live the crap out of it. And that's what I try to do in honoring them and then myself. We talk about all the time that we believe in a higher being or we're trying to be respectful. And I think the most respectful thing that we can do is to live the life that we've been given as best as we can and not just surviving, right? Like, I feel like particularly as a Black woman, we get into that whole survival mode and just trying to make it. Also, as Black people, I think we have checklists in our heads, like, I have to get married at this age, check. I have to have a kid, check. I have to get a college degree, check. And we never ask ourselves, what would make me happy? I think that's a deep question that we don't ask ourselves at all. And so I really try to consciously ask myself, what would make me happy? And it changes all the time. And what's difficult is sometimes what will make me happy is not what the world is telling me should make me happy.
Right.
Right? And so the challenge is trusting yourself enough to say, I'm going to get my happy.
Right. I'm going to get my
I'm
happy.
going to get my happy. And I'm going to get my happy not caring about what people think about it. Because at the end of the day, the folks that are rolling are going to roll with you. And they're going to be happy for your happy.
Right.
And the ones who aren't are going to judge you. So I don't like anybody enough to be miserable for them.
Okay, for the people in the bag.
I mean, I just don't like you that much, right? And no one's opinion matters that much where I'm going to sit up there and be miserable. So like when you talk about traveling, right? When I first started traveling, people would say to me like, girl, so who taking care of your kids, right? Their daddy, right? The daddy, right? He's taking care of them.
Right.
And I always arranged my job where I was the one to pick them up from school. I was the one volunteering. I was doing all that. If I want to go for 5 days to LA with my girls and turn up, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And guess what? I'm a better mother because I don't want to choke somebody.
Absolutely.
And beat them to death because I've had a little bit of that turn up. It's good for everybody. Turn up is good for everybody, I think.
Right.
A little turn up.
But what about people who, I love that you said that, but also there's some people that they don't have that, the privilege to say, the daddy, can you, watch the kids?
Okay, so that has been my philosophy of going after my happy, even when I could barely afford McDonald's. Because I understand there was a time that McDonald's, there was not a dollar menu, just for all y'all out there that don't know. There was not always a dollar menu.
Absolutely.
And so going to McDonald's was a treat. And, you have to figure out what your happy is based on the budget you have. I'm not saying go and bust and get a whole bunch of credit cards and go into debt. What happy can you manage? And so it changes. Now I can travel. I wasn't doing that forever. I wasn't, when my kids were young, it was like trying to get that formula and diapers money. Right. As they got older, careers got more established, then I could take little trips. I mean, my first trip was, I lived in DC, it was to Baltimore, okay, 45 minutes away, staying at the little, I don't know, Days Inn. It wasn't Croatia. Croatia's now, but that's a lot of years.
It was the Motel. I remember the Motel 6 used to be cracking.
Oh, what? What? Oh, shoot.
And don't stay at La Quinta because they had the waffles.
Absolutely. Holiday Inn Express, you get free breakfast.
But yeah, I like that you said that manage your happy.
Manage your happy and where you are.
And where you are.
And even now, I can't do everything that I want to do. And I have to figure out, for instance, I have some girls or some friends who love purses. You will see me with the same raggedy purse for years, not raggedy, but you will see me with the same purses for years and years and years, the same outfits. Even on Instagram, I can't play it off. Yes, that is the bathing suit I had 4 vacations ago. But what makes me happiest is the vacation.
Right.
It's going somewhere. So I may not have as many clothes as my friends have, but they don't value vacationing as much. Some people are going on vacations now just because it's hot to do. And
it's
I'm like,
Instagram worthy.
It's Instagram, right? And I'm like, if that's not your thing, no, you got people out there camping and jumping in water who hate water. Like, girl, why are you faking this for us? What? And I'm like, figure out what your happy is, and that makes it right.
Yeah, no, I like that. And the segue is, we were talking about being happy and then just wasting time and second chances. And I was like, okay, because at the end of the day, it's like you can waste so much time and not be focused on the things that are truly making you happy. And just thinking that tomorrow you're going to have the opportunity to fix it. And that's not always the case,
I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I talk to my friends who are single, but quasi-single because they have somebody raggedy there.
There's always a raggedy something.
Raggedy. And raggedy people will hang around. They won't hang around as you want them, but who wants to lose a good fool, right? Because I've been a good fool. I have been a good fool. And then the raggedy person calls you later and says, I miss you. And I'm like, I'm sure you do. I mean, who wouldn't want a good fool like I was for you.
I hate me too.
Yeah, I'd miss me too. Because who wouldn't miss a fool? Because that's what I've been before. And so I look back and I look at my friends sometimes and I'll say, that's 3 years gone with that guy who was raggedy. Now, it's okay if a relationship ends because most things in life aren't designed to be forever.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But were you happy for the most part during those years? Mm-hmm. People have miserable, like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and they were miserable.
Right.
And I'm like, when it's gone, it's gone. You don't get it back. There is no, return policy. You can't go up to somebody and say, you know what, I wasted my time. Can I get those 10 years back?
Listen, I have thought about invoicing a couple niggas like, you know what, here, this is the time wasted because, and I got my hair done that time when you wasn't, nope. But no, you're right. You don't get that. You don't get that time back.
Right. And I think that if we thought about life, that there's an ending date, and we did that before we were like 72 and raggedy, talking about, I'm ready.
We can still be 72 and fabulous.
Well, yeah, but sometimes people don't think about living until they get really sick or some tragedy happens, and they're like, I'm gonna live my life. What? Like, let's think about that right now. Right? So I have always lived like I was gonna die.
I like that.
I've always lived that way.
Just always.
I think,
but it was probably when you seen your parents.
Yes.
That was the catalyst to say, you know what, let me live my life.
Absolutely. And I don't want to waste time on, and don't get me wrong, I believe in commitments. I believe in trying. I believe in bad times. But I don't want to spend a decade on a job that I hate. I don't want to spend a decade on a man that makes me feel like crap most of the time. I don't want to spend 20 years on a friendship just because we've known each other all that time. I don't want to lose that time. Time is my most valuable asset. I'd rather somebody take my money than take my time.
Woo! Put that on a t-shirt, sell it, $20 on musicmenandmymental.com. All proceeds will go to Randi B. That's true. That is really true. Oof. I love it. Okay, let's play a game.
Oh, goodness.
So your book is Never Say 25 Free. The never game. Let's play with the never game.
Never. Okay.
So 3 things that you should never say in your career or job, or just 3 points that you would recommend to never say or do.
I would say that you should not ask an older person when they're retiring.
Oh, Jesus. That's bad. When are you going?
I would say that you should never say, I ain't doing that. You can say no, but there's a way you say no in business.
Give me an example, because at the end of my corporate career, I just said no to everything. And it was so bad that I just knew, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be here. I mean, I was so unhappy. And I knew that the next time I would go back into the corporate field, the corporate world, that it had to be just the right particular place. And I was just, it just flew off my mouth. No. Like, it was just easy. Even because but it was also because I knew I'm very stats oriented. I know numbers, like, it's in my head really fast. So, can we get this? I did event planning for 13 years. So if you wanted a pen that had the logo on it, and they're like, can we get that tomorrow? I'm like, no. I just knew automatically. No, can we get this this hat design with this logo? I knew automatically that logo, the way they wanted it, it would have to come custom made from China, and you have to get a new hat.
Right.
So I think really fast. That's why I talk so fast as well. So I just would say no, because I knew the answer. But now, as I have matured in myself, I know that was not the best way to do things.
Right.
So help me out with that. How can you say no nicely?
Well,
or in the most
case that in the
way.
example that you used, if they say, "Can we get this hat in 2 days?" You could
Sorry,
say,
my shoe just fell, y'all. Sorry.
You could say, "The hat is dope. I definitely want you to have it. But because of the, mailing times in China, we couldn't get it for another 2 weeks. That's saying no, but it's providing them with why you can't do it. Just saying no, some people may think, she doesn't want to do it. She's not committed to the project. But if you let people know I'm trying to get that. But some people just say, I'm not doing it.
Right. But it's also the body language, because I know I have no filter. I am not an actress whatsoever. Like, it's just not possible. So it'll be like, can we get this? I'm like,
that's a sad thing. We're not.
And then
liars.
even if I try to massage it and say like, that's a great idea, that pen is awesome, but it's impossible. They're like, oh, she's about to kill me.
No, you can tell the truth, but it's just the way you deliver the truth. I mean,
Right.
you can piss on someone's leg and tell them that it's raining, because it is kind of raining. It's just raining
just
pee,
piss.
right? You could tell people to go to hell, and they look forward to it, like pack their bags, get excited, get a new outfit,
excited.
and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going
So
to hell.
warm, yeah.
Because the way you deliver it, if you use the words. I would also say, let's get shots. That would be a never say at work. Let's get some shots. Let's go get shots.
But I do that across the board. Even in my friendships, I don't like that.
Well, I'm down with the shots at some point, but I'll say what has shocked me is that people take work parties to mean parties and free liquor and let's turn up for real. And I'm saying it's not that at all. And oftentimes, a lot of the times I have to come in and fix. It's for people saying dumb things at parties.
I bet.
Any compliment on somebody's physical is a bad idea at work.
That's the addendum to like the shots.
Yes, that comes afterwards.
Okay.
Oftentimes,
afterwards is don't tell someone, congratulations on their baby, or I see you looking thick, or
are those real?
Yeah.
Can I touch your hair? Yeah, it's just don't do it.
Those are good ones. I
it
like
work.
those in a career, and you kept it nice and light. I like that. Those are real takeaways. Ooh, relationships. Okay, let's go to health, because I feel like relationships, we may get a little,
right.
I can get a little sticky. So in health, because the thing about health is I use health as a mental health, physical health, are you feeling good? So the never says with that, it could be, that it's so much you can, so many places you can go with that. But what would you say, maybe just even to yourself, never say towards your health?
Anything that discounts therapy, I think that's something particularly we're working on in the Black community. So anything that says, why do you need to go to a therapist? You're not crazy, or something like that would be a never say. Because we want to encourage people, if they feel they'd like support, someone to help talk through things, anything whatsoever.
What about can this go under the never say, if I say, I suggest you need therapy, or you need therapy? I've definitely said that probably like a couple of times.
Say,
like,
have you considered therapy? Or a therapist
Now.
can definitely immediately. A therapist can help you work through that. Is what I would suggest you say, how I would phrase it.
I like that. Okay, so that's one, right? Or was that two?
I would say with health.
Okay, it's one with
Therapy is anything surrounding therapy we should
try to enforce in the most positive way.
in the most positive way.
Okay, two more. What do you say?
Never say with health. You would be so cute if you lost weight. You would be pretty if you lost weight.
Amen.
You'd be fine if you lost weight. You could be concerned about someone's health, but attaching it to the way they look and saying it that way basically tells them that they're ugly.
For yourself and other people, yes,
Right.
it's very important.
But not attaching it to you would be attractive if you were to lose this weight. That would be a never say.
I agree, and I've had this conversation with a girl who she's she's taller, she's a little bit bigger in stature, but if she dressed differently, I think she would come into a room and literally blow people out the park.
Right.
So some people would say, she's just a big girl, and I'm like, she's actually not that big.
Right.
The way she dresses and carries herself makes her look just, I guess, whatever you think is not as attractive, but she's really a beautiful girl.
Right.
But how
she's not working with the assets.
She's not working with the assets.
Right.
And there was another girl who is physically bigger. And this girl is just so gorgeous. But I mean, every time people talk about her, they're like, oh, she's so pretty, right? They're never saying the pretty big girl. But the other girl, they say, oh, so-and-so, big so-and-so.
Right.
And I'm like, So it goes back to just like, how can we, I mean, I guess you can't tell people that, but it's just something to consider. Like just dressing for your body type is a way to feel good about yourself, you know, and to, it's not necessarily like losing all the weight, but showing what it's, to accentuate more, accentuate less if you want it, or what you think is, makes you feel good about yourself, So I guess that's,
Well, but and then I would say a third one would be, I have sugar in my family, I got the pressure in my family, or we're just big boned in my family. I feel as if we make excuses in our community for health issues, most of which can be controlled by life choices. So a health never say would be something that where you're making an excuse, like, oh, that just runs in my family. Yes, maybe it does, but what can you do to change it?
Some people use that excuse, but also it's money, and it's also health insurance, and it's also those like, how do we, avoid those excuses? Because most of the time we can find everything. Like, this is why I'm big. This is why I am depressed, because I don't have, the money, the this, the that,
Well, sometimes those things are very real, and that's different. But saying that it's in the family, yes, it's in the family, but most of the time, that's something we can still have control over. And I think feeling like you're in control of your health is pretty important.
The control.
Yeah. Well, you should be in control of it.
Right.
Or at least try to be as best as you can.
I like those takeaways, and I definitely am catching you on the spot with these, so these are good.
You're making me think.
I know. Okay, let's get into the relationships. Oh, I mean, 3 may not be enough, but we'll go with the top 3. So give me in the relationships that never say.
Oh.
They're like, wait.
Do we really want to get into this? In bed.
Okay. Ooh, in bed. Never say.
I would say that's all or that's it.
That's just rude.
It's been said.
Damn. Did you say it?
No. I did have a friend who did say it. People do say that.
She didn't like that person.
Yeah, she did not like that person. But also, I do think we should speak the truth now.
Okay.
No, seriously, that's a side conversation. But if
men have very fragile egos, fragile egos. So like, it is hard to sometimes express it, But
do you stay unhappy like forever? I told you,
right.
This goes back to like, are you unhappy for 10 years because you don't tell him like, yeah, no, I'm really not digging the toe sucking thing.
Right.
Or whatever it is.
Do not touch my toes. I am grossed out. But I know some people love that. That's not my thing.
But if someone did it to you, if someone was sucking on your toes, would you like ride with it? Or would you say like, please don't?
Okay. So something like that, since that's something that's such a no, I could immediately, since I'm already a blunt person, to be like, I don't like that,
Right.
And because even in my job, I think that I was really good at, I forgot what I would call it, but I would say the truth with a joke.
Right.
So I was really good at that. Like, girl, you're going to show up in here and all late looking cute. I got my point across. So now you know that I know that you took you put some effort into looking cute or whatever you had going on and you're late and I'm acknowledging it. And then you're going to probably say, oh yeah, girl, or am I late? Now we've identified that. But something like, that's like toe sucking. I'm like, right away. But if it's something like, I really don't like, the way you scream or the way you like,
like. Wait a minute.
Something that's like something that freaks you out.
Right.
Because I think of something you don't like, you'll be like, oh, I don't like that. But something that kind of freak or creeps you out, I think we would be sensitive to say that to a person, like, ooh, you know, like, I'm getting gross, Lord. Like if someone spits in your mouth, right?
Oh, yeah.
It would creep you out, right?
Yes, I'm creeped out now talking about it. I'm like all upset.
But like, shit. I'm like getting hot just thinking about it. If someone spits in your mouth, right, you're creeped out. Or would you be like, you know, you'd say later on, like, oh, that was kind of weird. You'd be like, oh. Like, or you'd be like, get the fuck off of me, you know?
I honestly think up until about 10 years ago, I would have just rolled with it, lit his little nasty butt, spit in my mouth, and then later would have called my girls like, let me tell you what this boy.
But that's what I'm saying, because you were creeped out.
Right. I think that's one way, one area though. As
Opposed
a woman,
to like,
I didn't try to get my happiness. I think that part is new.
Okay, cool.
Yes. But now I would say, what is I would say, wait 1 minute. Yeah.
Wait
1 minute.
Wait 1 minute.
Did you
okay,
just,
keep going.
Because I would have to probably first pause. I tend to kind of go in shock. And then, yeah.
Okay.
So, are we talking about in the bed? Or are we talking about relationships never
we
say?
We are still in relationships and never say, but you went to bed and I just, you started sorry. And I took it there.
I'm so sorry.
Ooh, I had to take off my damn jacket. That's too funny. So, okay, I never say.
Never say.
In relationships. Outside of the bedroom, because that went left real quick.
Really fast. Okay, let me get my brain back out of the bedroom, because that's hard. Oh, wow.
I know something that
I was going to say, what's something that someone said to you?
Well, we spoke about that.
Yeah.
I cannot speak today. We spoke about this in the coffee shop, but it's my personal thing is abandonment. Yeah. I do not like, so I would say never say, like, I'm breaking up with you, or never say like, this is why this can't work, or I would never say, you know, in those veins of like, you know,
I can't do this.
Yeah, I can't do
this.
There it goes.
There's no way we can work. Yeah.
Never say that unless you mean it.
Unless you mean it, yes.
Or just under this umbrella of like, I don't want to fight with you, so fight or flight. You know, so automatically fly away. And if you are a person who does not know how to argue, because like I always tell people, I have a PhD in arguing because I don't mind arguing, but also I have been in relationships where it's like, we don't go to sleep upset. Like, all right, let's fight this out because the end goal is to get over this situation. So my never saying that is, so I'm triggered as soon as someone is like, oh, I don't like this, I'm leaving. And it could just be like, I'm leaving to go to the store or something in the midst of an argument, I want to just go crazy.
Same here.
And I'm working on that. I'm working through that. But that's a never say for me, because how I had to learn was one of my relationships, you know, the Phoenix situation, I had said, I'm so done with you. It's over. And he was like, okay, repeat it one more time. And it's over. I'm not fucking with you. Ah! And then I left and he was like, okay, so I'm going to ship your stuff back. What's the address? And I was like, I'm just kidding. I'm going to be, no, it's over. And it wasn't because it was like, oh, he planned it or whatever. Now I do get it, because if we are working towards something and you've already moved here and we've already invested all of this time and energy, you're so quick to leave me,
right,
in the midst of an argument at the Cheesecake Factory. No bullshit. It was so when Drake had that song, "Why We Gotta Argue at the Cheesecake," you know, I was like, he was at my Cheesecake Factory argument. And so that's my never say, because it just triggers something with me. And I know I have said it and I have done it before, and I will break up with people and not mean it, but it's because I have seen abandonment. And if I see the first sign of it, I don't want to play with you. But I know a lot of people have to walk away because they don't know how to handle their emotions that well. Right. So they may start going into like panic or anxiety, or they start screaming and start crying because they don't know how to share their emotions properly and take themselves out the situation to say like, I'm mad at you because XYZ. I see your point and I didn't like this because of this.
Right.
They're like, I want to win. And it's just gets, so that's my never
when you're
say.
trying to one up each other. I would say as a woman, men should just stop saying you're crazy. And I haven't heard that much because I
haven't heard it as much anymore.
I'm always hearing about men saying women are crazy. And I think that that shuts people down.
Explain that, because my theory is when I've heard men say, oh, she's crazy, I always want to know what was your crazy in this?
Well, how did you get her to the point that she is banging on your window right now at 2 a.m.? Mm-hmm. There is a reason why that happened. Yeah. I could speak from experience. Not that I was the woman banging on the window, mm-hmm. but when I was engaged in college, there was a couple women sometimes banging on the window. Right. And I would love to have blamed and say, oh, these women are crazy. Because of course, that's what my ex-fiance told me. Mm-hmm. But there is a reason why they felt entitled to come and bang on your window at 2 a.m.
Right.
So why are they somewhat crazy? Have you been telling them a bunch of lies, which mm-hmm. he had, right? And so I think sometimes when people say people are crazy, it's to shut the conversation down. And there always should be conversation. I think.
Yeah. I think I like the never say game.
Yeah.
I feel like we can get one more in.
And I think I've heard a lot of people say, I've seen like this banner, this meme right now, mm-hmm. people who say, that's why I never date blank women. Oh. So if someone acts a certain way and someone says, see, that's why I don't date black women. Uh-huh. People have been saying that is something people say. So as if you are just a whole type, that you're, whatever you fill that blank is, like the person's not even seeing you as an individual.
Well, that's just something that just goes deeper in their own personal and systemic, issues and values and all that stuff. Because I definitely hear it all the time, especially with men who have, lots of money or whatever, notoriety, things like that. And I've heard it so much. And even a friend of mine who's like, yeah, I got to bring, the white chick to this party, come with me to this one tomorrow. And I'm like, bro, did you just say that?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people, and it is not just with the whole race thing, but some people will say on the opposite, like, what? That's why I don't mess with some, New York. They'll just like put people in a group and act like that person's not an individual. The reason why they're acting a certain way is because they're a race, or they're from a certain place, or they're,
what goes through their
I've even heard like,
experiences.
that's why I'll be messing around with you light-skinned chicks. Really? So like we just all act like one way. Like it's like we have a monthly meeting of saying, like it's just so
girl,
ridiculous.
As a light-skinned committee, I would like to text that. We gonna be bitches
rules,
today.
Right. And our rules. This is exactly how we treat people. Like, I'm like, that's just so ridiculous. Right. So that whole grouping stuff is just dumb. Like deal with the individual, I think is a good idea.
Right.
That would be a never say to me.
I like that.
Yeah, but there's a lot. I mean, men could have a book of some stuff they shouldn't say, but I'm trying to be fair.
My friend actually told me today that she wants me to have men on the show so we can ask them, what does this mean?
So what's one thing?
So like,
I think I could
what
tell you.
Does it?
I speak men.
You speak men?
I speak men.
What does it mean when a man does this but doesn't, says this but doesn't do that?
See, I think that, I'm going to tell you the truth about that. This is jumping subjects. It's not a
That's
never
okay.
say. I think that men, most of the time, tell us what they mean. We allow ourselves, our hopes, and our friends to confuse it.
One more time.
So a man will say, I don't want a commitment right now. Mm-hmm. But he comes over and hangs out with you, let's say 4 nights a week. So the woman says, well, I don't know if he wants a commitment because he's coming over 4 nights a week. And last week he was over 6 nights a week and he left his shoes. And then her girlfriend is like, girl, yes, y'all are serious. He really likes you. And then it falls apart because he'll say, I told you, when something happens, that she finds out about another girl, or he doesn't show up at something and she's hysterical. And he'll say, I told you I did not want a commitment, right? And so I think men say what they mean. We hear what we want to hear. And I believe in listening. And then we think, oh, well, we do have a commitment because of this. This is what's happening. No, he set your boundaries. You did not set yours.
Oh,
so
boundaries.
Right. And so he says, we don't have a commitment. Maybe that means you say, okay, well, you can't stay the night, or you can't come to my house, and stay 4 nights a week, because that's what my man would do, but that's not what you do. Or, wait a minute, don't leave those shoes in my closet, because I may be seeing somebody else, right? You never give him a reason to make the commitment, and you decided to just kind of like backdoor your way in, like this is going to happen, this is what's happening, and they're going to fall on, I told you I didn't want a commitment. Right. I think men say, for the most part, how they feel. Now, I'm not ever going to leave my woman. I'm not going to leave my wife. Girl, he's spending this time with me. He bought me this. We're together this much time. And then they're mad because they didn't leave the wife. Or whatever it is. I think men speak pretty plainly a lot of times. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are players who lie. But a lot of times men speak it plain. And I'm on the phone with my friends, and they are trying to spend 20 hours analyzing it.
Oh,
women speak in code.
What do you think this means?
Right. We speak in code. We tell someone, oh, baby, no, you ain't got to do nothing for my birthday. We know that's a lie.
Fairy tales
Don't believe it. That's a lie. You get set up, my brother, right? And we're mad that you and then we're mad because you, first of all, grasped onto that and believed it so quickly, and then that you really did not do anything.
And I can't believe you grasped on.
Oh, yeah, you just like, okay, good, right? You said I ain't had to buy you anything. It's a lie. So we're all codes and stuff. Women are complicated. Men, they speak pretty plainly. When they say they don't want anything, they really don't want anything.
Well, now that we cracked the codes on Music Men and My Mental, tune in next week. Just kidding. No, it's true.
I'm serious. We just don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And so we try to analyze them the way they analyze us. And I mean, the way we need to be analyzed. And I always say, they say, well, girl, you think he's doing that to make me jealous or this? I was like, men aren't quite that complicated. They don't give the thought. We will spend 4 hours on the phone about the way someone looked at us and said hello. Like,
no, for real.
Was it hello? Was it hello? I would have hello. We'll do all that. They're not spending 4 hours talking with their boys about us. They just, most of the time. Right. And so they're not all these codes and switches and figuring out. Basically, it is, for the most part, what it is. Right. And if they didn't tell you the truth, they're showing you the truth. Because my mom always told me, if he's not with you, because women love women. I need woman time. I like to be with my girls. Men want to be with each other however long a game is or an activity. They need an activity. They don't just sit in a coffee shop for 3 hours and discuss their feelings most of the time. Even at a bar, there's a game on in the background, because men can't. We can sit in a coffee shop and talk about one thing for hours. I can go on a vacation with my girls and we can talk about everything, and that's all we need. Men don't.
They need an activity.
They need an activity.
Whether it's work, whether it's another woman. That is good.
That's just my opinion. Don't people can be calling in. But most men are not sitting down and saying, man, we just sat up there. Sometimes. But they usually, it's so epic for them. They have the story. Like, man, I was so upset.
They'll be in a WhatsApp, but they're at work, maybe on this thing. They may talk about a topic on a WhatsApp.
Oh, yeah.
Or on a drive home. Maybe, but like, they definitely are not like, let me meet you, I got to talk. Unless it's like a divorce.
It has to be major. And even then, it's like, my man would come home. I was like, what's going on with John? I don't know.
I don't care.
Right. Like, we watched the game where they talked about who the draft should pick.
Like, but she's distraught.
Right.
She slashed the tires.
Right, exactly.
And he's like, I don't know what happened. You should ask her.
Right.
Damn.
They don't really talk like we do. And so all the stuff that we think is happening, the planning that we're trying to analyze, it's not that deep.
I like that. Okay. Well, you done got me all worked up. As far as yourself, let's go into Randi B. Your career, your relationships, your overall health. How do you feel some sense of balance? I know you said, you you just try to be happy. But like there's these life experiences that brought you to where you are today. The hardship in the career, I will not believe in 18 years that it was not hard, you know, in your career.
Oh,
and
baby.
You've been married for over 20 years, you said, right? That cannot be easy. And you're snatched as hell. So you've been keeping up with your health. So like, what experiences would you share to listeners, like in order for you, like just your personal experience of how you feel some sense of balance in your career, relationships, and overall health, or a story that has gotten you to this place?
Balance is a myth, I believe.
Okay.
Sometimes I suck at something.
Right.
There's sometimes that, you know, work has called me. I'm building, you know, I was building my business, and I just wasn't reading the bedtime story. Or I would say, oh, it's just one page. I'm lying to them, like, oh, and then the cat ran away. The end. There ain't no cat in the hat tonight, because you got to get back on your computer, right? Sometimes I was wrapped up into being a mom, and, you know, work I didn't do as well, or I didn't work out. Like, I think that you have to love yourself and be forgiving with yourself. You know, you just have to say, girl, it's all right. Like, be your best friend and say, like, I try to work out regularly, but you know, in New York right now, I'm working with 2 clients. I've been meeting a couple people during the night for, you know, fun. And okay, I didn't work out the last 3 days. And I ate pasta last night, lobster pasta. Girl, it was so good. Yeah. And I just forgive myself. I don't beat myself up about it.
But that is balance.
I guess so.
And also to be in your, because I think what makes us unhappy is when we feel like we need to do more for something, you know, and it's like,
right.
I'm getting so fat. Oh, I'm unhappy. I'm getting, you know, I'm really broke, you know. But if we shift and say, okay, I'm not working out as much because I'm going to really focus on getting a job right now.
Right.
You know, that I think it's like, or, you know, I'm going to just try to work out maybe 10 minutes a day.
Right.
Opposed to the hour in order to, you know, I think we can fix ourselves. But it's not about me. I like the fact that you're saying that you're forgiving of yourself.
I try to be my best friend and talk to myself as if I'm my own, like what I would say to somebody else. Because you can tend to like negative self-talk.
Oh, gosh.
And I get all wrapped up in that. And then I say, what would you say if this were your girl calling you? And she had the same issue. And so then I talk to myself that way. I think also just understanding the humanness of all people. I have people who will say to me, but girl, you know, you got your stuff together. And I'm like, you do know I'm raggedy, right? Like I'm figuring this out day by day and trying to make it work.
She uses the word raggedy so much. It's so funny. I was like raggedy because there's nothing raggedy about her. But as a person who knows when people say, "Oh, girl, you just got it together," I'll be like, "Girl, I'm busted." You raggedy Randy, I'm busted. C.DeVone.
But because I think sometimes people see what they want to see, right? So like someone may watch the video, like watch this and say, okay, the hair is done or whatever. And they're not seeing like I'm missing nails.
Both of our nails
and it's jacked up. And you're showing what you can, you know, you're doing the best you can and presenting your very best self. They don't know that picture on Instagram, you took 1,700 before you got that one where you actually remember to suck in your stomach and smile at the same time, which really takes a lot of effort.
And you may die from holding your breath.
Right. I've almost died, actually. Right. You know, so they see all the roses, right? And so when people talk to me about, but Randy, you're so lucky because you have a man. I'm like, girl, and have thought about putting the pillow and killing him a couple, like at least, you know, if someone doesn't tell you that they have wanted to murder, like, no, for real. Like that snap stuff is for real. If they haven't told you, like Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee said, you know, there's multiple divorces in every marriage, right? If people aren't telling you that, yes, I may have a boyfriend for 5 years, but it hasn't been easy. Anybody you have seen that is in something for a while has gone through something, is tolerating something.
Right.
Because there is no perfect person, just as we aren't perfect. Anybody who you see in a career, they are oftentimes challenged. I will say, you know, now that I've been changing my life and really branding myself under Randi B, am scared every day of everything I do. My caring what people think is at a 100 right now, and I had really kind of tempered that as I've gotten older. But every article, because I write about pretty controversial things and I say exactly what I feel. And so every time I post something, I'm nervous. You know, people think I wasn't scared when I started my business 18 years ago, because that made sense. The 1 + 1 = 2, how I made money. For me, that made sense to me. This sharing me is terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. So again, you know, speaking to yourself positively, understanding that everybody is human and trying the best that they can, and that they are absolutely dealing with something, that our emotions are pretty standard. You know, all of us are dealing with fear of rejection, fear of failure. All of those things are just real for everybody. And that's why I think we're so fascinated with stars, because we see that even they are like falling apart sometimes.
Right. Well, thank you. I'm honored to have you on the show.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
How can people find you?
You can find me on randyb.net is the best way to go. On Facebook, I have Randi B, and we have over 50, a community of over 50,000 people that we talk about all sorts of issues in the community. So that's fun. And I'm on Instagram at Randi, RANDI _ B, because some like no-name woman who doesn't even use Instagram as Randi B. She needs to give me that name. Anybody who knows her, tell her.
Did you hit her up?
I haven't yet. I'm going to.
You should.
Yeah.
I had another Instagram account called Outside the DJ Booth, and I wanted it, and sadly, I don't use it as much. It was about like cooking and food and music, and I found who it was, and it was the most fabulous DJ in freaking Houston, Texas, DJ Mr. Rogers. I don't know if you're familiar, who's like the biggest deal ever. And I hit him because I've met him at Essence Festival, and he was like, yeah, I use it to show my cars. And I was like, oh, okay. And one of the, you know, the major hurricanes, I think Hurricane Harvey in Texas, he was just having like a day. He was like, see, here, just take it.
That's
and
so
he gives
dope.
it to me. So you never know. They may just give it to you.
Okay. That's my last piece of advice. Surround yourself with people who encourage you, because I'm going to do that. Thank you so much. Seriously. You know, you are encouraging me in things, right? That's a big thing. Thank you for that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for
follow
having me.
her, like and subscribe on everything Randi B, and also at Music Men and My Mental. I am so thankful that you are tuning in. Make sure you check in with yourself. Give us an email, like, subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, etc. I'm C.DeVone, and have a great day. Bye.